Hi guys, no one is here. I hope you've been good Shibs and kept practicing your Shiba Eternity skills in preparation for the release of the blockchain version of the game and starting to earn real crypto with those skills. Until today, we have already covered the basic gameplay and features of the game, the card trades and various tips and tricks to help you start on your Shiba Eternity journey. And now that you have some experience with the basic decks and cards, and have opened up all of the disciplines, we are going to cover the grand question: how to tame your Shiboshi. Being able to change Shiboshi discipline is one of the most requested features which may come in the future updates or expansions, or not. But until it does, choosing the right discipline for your newly hatched Shiboshi is the most important decision which you have to make. Because the discipline you choose will determine what discipline cards this Shiboshi will have and how well they will synergize with the trait cards that come from the trait of individual Shiboshi, as well as the Shiboshi powers that it will possess. Now we are going to go through the whole process of summoning the new Shiboshi, picking the best discipline for it, at least the best for my limited experience, and go through the deck assembly and craft the vital cards which may be missing. Basically, the whole process from start to finish. And of course, in the end, we'll take the new Shiboshi for test drive. So, without further ado, let's create the new Shiboshi. To do that, we go to the Shiboshi panel. By the way, we have a chest to open, let's do that. I was saving it just for you for a long time. Chief Cook, one of my favorites. That was nice. Let's start unlocking the next one and start creating our new Shiboshi. Until you have mastered all the disciplines and have gained a decent amount of cards, I would suggest you to try and earn as many cards as possible rather than spending kibble on the new Shiboshis. Because when you get a lot of Shiboshis but have no cards to play with them, it doesn't make great benefit for you. So let's try our luck. We click the top corner to start a new Shiboshi, and here it is, the surprise. We can either click through all individual traits of the Shiboshi, or we can hold the message on the right to skip and go through it quickly. I'll just go through one by one. Okay, that's a nice looking Shiboshi. We're gonna have to name it now. Let's call it Sportoshi. I try to name all my Shiboshi with some kind of Oshi at the end. It has quite a few powers, as you can see. The Smoke Bomb, which gives the fighter stealth, the Butler service, the Stand Guard, the Coaching, which is quite a good one, and the Ancient Instincts, which come with quite a lot of Shiboshis. So we proceed now to the most important part, which is more art than science, choosing the discipline. To choose the discipline of the Shiboshi, we have to check what cards it will have and then decide what would be the most appropriate for it. We can click the I button at the top right corner, and as you can see, it gives us all the cards for the discipline which is selected, as well is the trade cards. Let's have a look. Now generally, as you know, there are 6 disciplines. Jiu-Jitsu, which is basically a very balanced deck. Taekwondo is focused on creating a lot of fighters and then buffing them up. Bai Thai is aiming to deal high amount of damage. Wolf Chun has a lot of cards which can start playing as soon as you place them. They have Eager, so it's a very aggressive deck which is aiming to kill your opponent because he has a chance to attack. Ryochi is a defensive deck. They don't have as strong attacks, but they have very strong stamina. And then Shaijitsu deck is a stealth deck with a lot of stealth cards. So when we can see at the cards that we have here, we have some stun cards with damage. We have some buff cards. We have some damage cards for the spells. More buff cards. Some warrior cards, quite nice ones, Pack Leader. Shiboshi Volcano is a good one as well. Because when you have opponent which has a lot of cards on the deck and you have to clear them, you need to have some high damage dealing cards to be able to deal with it. The mercenaries are also quite good. And then the standard cards. So based on what we have seen now, we have quite a few buff cards as well as a few warriors. So basically, as we have discussed, the Taekwondo is focusing on having a lot of warriors and then increasing their power. So I think that the Taekwondo would be the best deck for this Shiboshi to use. Of course, these choices and understanding comes with your experience. So the more you play and understand the cards, the better you will be able to decide. But until you do, you always have to try your best and hope that it will be a good choice. But if it isn't, it's not the end of the world, it's just 100 kibble. Of course, the more rare Shiboshi you get, the more important the choice becomes. This Shiboshi which I got is okay. It's not very rare, so it's fine if we make a mistake, so it's good to practice. So I will accept the discipline now. And here it is, our Sportoshi. We can have a look at what cards we have. These are mostly standard cards. And then the trade cards are the ones that we have seen. The Shiboshi powers are here. Personally, I think the coaching one would be very good, so I'll use that one. And save. Now, one thing which you have to keep in mind, that not all the cards might be shown in your list because you might not have all of them. So to check your cards, you can use the website shibaeternitydeck.com. Let me just open it up for you so you can have a look at what I'm doing and then copy it yourself when you need to do it as well. So to do this, ideally you would have to have your Shiba Eternity game open on one device and then to open the website on another device, not to have to go back and forth, and be able to choose easier and see which traits your Shiboshi has and enter them in the list. So you can go to the cards Now here we can choose whether we want to see the discipline cards, which discipline. Click on those, we can pick this one. Now we have black mask for eyes, as you can see. We pick that. We have the bubble pipe for mouth. Army clothing. Sport band headwear. And no accessories. None. And we click filter. Now we can see the cards. First we can see the discipline cards. Also some of them are missing from what we have. Now I will open the cards which we have in my decks and we will be able to see what we don't have. So I'm opening my Sportoshi and you can see, for example, that we don't have a Dojo Armory card. So in case you have a card which you really want, you can mint it, which we will try to do. Let's have a look at the trade cards. Now here you can see that some cards we do have, some cards we don't. For example, Guardian of the Throne we do not. But the Shiboshi and Volcano is quite important one and we do have it, which is very nice. Generally when picking a deck, I'm trying to split the cards to have 10 spell cards and 20 warrior cards to have a good balance. Of course, depending on the deck you're going for, you can vary this number to make the most use of the cards that you have. Okay, in our case I can see that we do not have Our Last Hope, which is quite a good card because it gives +3 attack and +3 stamina, but destroys adjacent friendly fighters. So it's best used when you have just one fighter on board and you can boost it quite a lot. Also, I really like Ryoshi's Katanas for a weapon card because it deals 3 damage to attacking card and then 1 damage to adjacent enemy fighters, which is very good, and we don't have it either. So now I would like to craft these cards. To do so, we'll go back, we'll just save what we have. We are going to Armory, we are going to Cards, and we're gonna have to find them. To do so, we click the hammer at the top right corner. Now, as you can see, we have option to mass burn cards. Originally, you can have only 2 cards in your deck, and of regular cards, and only 1 card of the legendary type. So anything extra you don't really need because you cannot use it. So you can burn those cards, which I'm gonna do now. I'll use the mass burn function to get myself some points which can be used to create new cards. As you can see now I have 98 points which I can spend on new cards. I click the filter button to be able to search for the cards that I want. Let's start with Our Last Hope. Here it is. Now we have 2 choices. Either to craft a foil card or regular card. For all intents and purposes they are the same, but as you can see the foil card has a much nicer foil effect on it, but costs a lot of points. So I'm not gonna do that. We have Our Last Hope, which is a regular one, and it costs 120 points to scrap, to forge. So I don't have enough for that at the moment. Let's try to check Ryoshi's Katanas then. Here they are at the top. Okay, now we pick a regular Ryoshi's Katanas. As you can see, they cost 60 points to forge, and I have 98, so I can do that. I can forge 1 card, which I will do now. And as you can see now I have 1 card. I was not able to forge Our Last Hope because it's quite a rare card. and cost a lot of points. So I will need to get a lot more cards and scrap them before I can get this card. Now I will go back to decks and make a deck out of the cards that I have. Let's start with trade cards. I'll clear this out. We definitely want Shiboshi and Volcano to clear the deck once the opponent has a lot of cards on it. I'll take Ryoshi's Katanas, which I just crafted. Congratulations is a great buff card. Bonk is another great card, because it deals 3 damage and stuns an enemy just for 2 barks. We can also use a second Bonk of regular type to have our 2 cards limit. Payoff Bribe also seems like a powerful buff, which we will use. Anarchy is a powerful attack spell, dealing L damage split between all enemies. And actually we had a nice one here with foil effects. One point I have to point out, which actually we can try to do now. As you can see, we have 2 Anarchies, 2 foil cards and 2 regular ones. So if we go back to our armory cards, we find our Anarchy cards. Here they are. If we take the foil cards, you can see if we scrap them, it gives us 2 points. If we scrap regular one, it gives us just 1 point. So when you have good foil cards which you don't need, you can scrap them and get the scrap points much faster that way. Since I don't have nearly enough points, I will not be scrapping these. We can return now to building our deck, but this is something for you to keep in mind for the future. Any foil cards which you don't need, you can safely scrap and get yourself regular cards which you do really need. Looks like we have to start over. So we get Katanas, the Volcano, the Bribe, the Bonk. Congratulations. Let's get the 2 nice Anarchies, the Pack Leaders, Mercenaries. And I think that will do from the trade cards. Now we go to the discipline cards. When picking the cards, it's always a good idea to have a balanced barks curve. You can see in the top right corner, which shows how much energy cards you have in total. So you need to have some low bark cards to start off the game, and then also some high powered ones for closer to the end of the game. I like the Bulwark, it's quite strong card, we can use 2 of those. The High Ground is a very powerful buff as well. We can pick some starting cards, like the Lightfoot's Winner, which is an eager card you'll be able to play straight away. 2 Steadfast Halter, which is a Guardian card. I like the Thrill Pouncer. It's quite a strong card. It has 4 stamina and 5 attack. The only drawback that it gives another card to your opponent, which we can live with. Now let's see what we have. We have quite a few spells and buffs. We can do with a bit more warriors and maybe a couple of extra buffs as well. I really like the Overcharge because it gives 4 attack. In case you collect the 2, you can get extra 8 attack in 1 round easily, just for 6 barks, and make a very big difference for your game. A surprise attack, which the opponent will not expect. Let's try the Cross Guarder. Also possibly Fleetfoot Charger. Maybe just one. A couple of stand guards. And the Sun Summon a Fist. And finally, for the final card, what should I pick? I'll go with the Snowball Charge Loft. And we have our deck. We save. And now we can test it out. To switch our Shiboshi, we go to the battle menu. Here you can see the picture of deck 1. There is the left and right arrows which we click. We find the Shiboshi which we want to use. This is the Sportoshi. And now we can try it out. Usually before going into the real battle, I would try it out on the AI in practice mode or in unranked mode, but it's not as fun as ranked one, so I'll risk it and go straight for the ranked match. And we found the game quite quickly. It's Kryptonite. I'm going second this time. Now I'm trying to pick the cards to use. I have some cards to start and play with. The Fleetfoot Charger is quite an expensive one, so I will not pick it for the starting draw. Now, as we can see, Kryptonite has the Frost Fire Blast skill, which does a lot of stunning to my warriors. So I will have to adjust my playstyle for it. As you can see, he has a Wolf, or she has a Wolf Tune deck, so they will have cards coming out very fast and be able to attack me straight away. I use my only suitable card to now, which is a Guardian, so it will not be able to attack my Shiboshi. Now I can use my power to buff my defender, and you can see I gain 2 attack, which is very nice, and I start dealing nice damage to the opponent. Now they can either use their power to destroy me straight away, or play another card. In my opinion, I would have just used the power and saved the cards, but it's not what he does. In this case, I get to buff my card again and do 5 damage to him. And still he'll be forced to attack me this time. Now I must be wary not to have more than 1 cards on the field, because he will be able to stun them. So this looks like a nice card to play. It's a Guardian card which has a block, so he will be forced to attack it first. And he does. Now he uses the spell to clear it out. Now I have a choice. I don't have many warrior cards left. I can either play this for mercenary squad, which is quite good. He'll be able to stun 2, kill 1, and then one will be still attackable. Or I can destroy the opponent with a bonk, but it will be a bit of an overkill. But considering he has a redirect, I think I'll do that. And that's a great new animation which I haven't seen before for the bonk. Our developers are amazing. Now this card is a multiplying menace. It copies itself every spell break, so every time he uses a spell. So it's very important to get rid of it as soon as possible. And I think I will use our powerful card to do just that. I still have a Guardian which I can play, but I will keep it for later, because he can just use the Shiboshi spell power to get rid of it. Now is a good time to use our Volcano, which deals 3 damage to all, because he has a lot of cards on board. And to get rid of the high damage dealing one as well. And I think this is the perfect timing, because he has a lot of cards out and we can clear them. I will give an extra attack to my card just to try and destroy this one. And they're all gone. I will wait a little bit more time for him to run out of cards, and then I'll be able to start attacking him effectively. So we can have 4 mercenaries, which is nice. And the pack leader. I think here I did a mistake, because to get a rally I would have gotten a lot of attacks if I did it the other way around. First the pack leader and then the mercenaries. You see the difference? Now each time I'm getting a new card and gets a new power. Now I'll give this one +3/+1 boost and an extra boost just to kill his alpha. Now I have to destroy the multiply menace again, so I give extra attack to the only card which can move. I'll give extra power to these ones and destroy it. At the same time it subtracted one attack from those remaining cards, and I still have an Anarchy, very powerful damage spell which can finish them off next time. Finally I can give possibly a Guardian to one of these cards to make sure they're dead. Let's go for this one. Now he's gonna try to keep me stunned. We destroy these two and keep the eager one in reserve. We don't want it to die too fast because we don't have many cards left now. Looks like we might lose this time because he has Shy's messenger back, which can deal 6 damage to us, and we don't have any guardians left, so it's a well played game for him. We'll try to put up a bit of defense, but there's not much we can do now. That's why it's important to have some sort of disarm spell to avoid such situations. We might fight a little longer now. We were able to give this bulwark a guardian. And do some damage, but obviously we have lost. Actually no, he still has to clear my bulwark, so it's not as clear cut. He's gonna stun me now. A very exciting game indeed. And I cannot attack. And he wins. Well done, Kryptonite. Well played. And this is the end of our today's tutorial. We have looked at how to create a new Shiboshi, how to check its powers and cards, how to take care of the cards which you do not need, how to forge new cards which you may be missing, which are useful for your deck, and we tried out this deck on the real opponent. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and until next time, take care.